areas of the surrounding cliffs dotted with ponderosa pine. Much of the park's ecologic diversity results from a dramatic difference in elevation of almost 5,000 feet, leading to significant variations in temperature and precipitation. An abundance of microclimates and influences from three adjacent ecoregions, the Colorado Plateau, Great Basin, and Mojave Desert, play an important role as well. This combination has contributed to an incredible diversity of plants, animals, and entire ecosystems, all protected within the 232 square miles of the park. We are currently traveling on a federal highway that connects State Route 9 to the south and east entrances of the park. About 4 miles ahead is the Zion Mount Carmel Tunnel, a monumental engineering achievement. Constructed between 1927 and 1930, men blasted and chiseled their way through more than 1 mile of unforgiving earth and stone. The Zion Mount Carmel Highway and Tunnel provides access to the dramatic scenery of the upper plateaus and connects the park with nearby Bryce Canyon National Park and Grand Canyon National Park. Driving through the 1.1-mile tunnel is a memorable and unique experience. Travelers heading east emerge from the tunnel into a different world of sculpted slick rock high above the canyon floor and home to an array of plants and animals, including desert bighorn sheep. From the shuttle stop, the trailhead for the Perouge Trail is across the road and to the left. This paved wheelchair-accessible trail is the only trail in the park which allows leashed pets and bicycles. From here, you can follow the river 1.7 miles to the Zion Canyon Visitor Center or 1 mile to the Zion Human History Museum.
Come here with a car if you get a special permit. Did you see that?
Having turned onto the Zion Canyon Scenic Drive, we continue our trip into the upper reaches of Zion Canyon.
I saw that car had a
along
red
the
permit
river.
and it's windshield.
This river has served as the architect of this area for an
expensive
estimated
though.
2 to 3 million years. The Virgin River is relatively short, roughly 150 miles in length, but swift and steep, dropping an average of 71 feet per mile in the canyon. The river's headwaters begin high in the mountains near Navajo Lake, almost 30 miles north of here, and eventually drain into Lake Mead and the Colorado River system near Las Vegas, Nevada. Dropping almost 8,000 feet in elevation, this relatively small, unassuming river removes an estimated 1 million tons of sediment annually from the area. Even more impressive is that almost 80% of this sediment is transported on 15 to 20 days each year during flooding. The rock, sand, and mud removed by the Virgin River originate in the park's many rock layers, the oldest of which dates back almost 265 million years. The ancient environments of this area were vastly different from what we see today. For millions of years, sediments accumulated in broad, low-lying river basins, coastal areas, and shallow seas. The material found in the massive upper cliffs that surround you was deposited by winds that blew large amounts of sand into vast sand dunes. This formation, the Navajo Sandstone, is likely the remains of the largest sand dune desert in the history of our planet, a sea of sand similar to portions of the Sahara Desert of today. As the layers of sediment grew, pressure from overlying sediments pressed the particles together, while groundwater brought minerals that cemented the material together to form rock, transforming sand into sandstone. The varying colors of the Navajo sandstone depend on the concentration and type of iron oxide or rust, which gives the rocks their characteristic reddish color. Geologic processes such as weathering and erosion continually shape the canyon. The large mass of sediment that slumped off the hillside to the left is an excellent example of geologic change in the park. In April of 1995, a huge section of this slope broke loose and slid down, blocking the river. Within a few hours, the river managed to carve its way through the path of least resistance, washing out a large section of the road and trapping several hundred people at the Zion Lodge for a brief time. The road was repaired and reinforced, but during September of 1998, a major flash flood swept through and once again destroyed this section of the road. The volatile river continues to pose challenges to the park and its visitors as it shapes and sculpts the surrounding landscape. This was demonstrated once again in the winter of 2010, when flooding led to a precautionary evacuation of the Zion Lodge, a temporary closure of the park, and the need for additional road repairs in this area. Zion Canyon clearly demonstrates the astonishing power of water. Flooding caused by heavy rains or snowmelt often lead to significant changes in the landscape. During floods, quiet streams and narrow canyons are transformed into raging torrents. The river can quickly rise from 50 cubic feet of water per second to over 3,000 cubic feet per second. The river's ability to carry sediment grows as the flow rate increases. The incredible volume of water during a flood is capable of moving massive boulders and ripping full-grown cottonwood trees out of the ground and sweeping them downstream.
Those peaks up there are crazy.
We are approaching our next stop.
So much bigger. Huh? Or so much bigger. Yeah, I know, but these ones like are kind of standing alone.
Visited this area in 1916 and named this series of peaks after
This other side is something huge.
from left to right, they are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Look how high that
Jacob,
is.
the light-colored peak to the far right, is only partially visible behind Mount Mormon, named for a prominent figure in the Book of Mormon. To the right, there is a short 50-yard paved path that climbs to a viewpoint of the Court of the Patriarchs.
Perfect viewpoint right here. How high is that one, they said? Look at it. Look how pointy it is at the top. This is good because where there's a stop going this way, there's also a stop going that way. Like the Grand Canyon is so retarded.
Zion Lodge is the next stop. Zion Canyon contains examples not only of geologic changes, but cultural changes as well. Archaeological evidence indicates that some of the earliest inhabitants lived in this area 8 to 10,000 years ago and survived by hunting, foraging, and following the seasonal cycles of wild game and plants. The ancestral Puebloan people that followed farmed the land, constructed large permanently occupied sites, and crafted decorative pottery. This area is also part of the traditional homeland of Southern Paiute people who remained in the area after much of the prehistoric farming population migrated to other areas. They lived a nomadic lifestyle and cultivated plots of corn, squash, and other foods along the Virgin River and its tributaries. Southern Paiutes maintained this way of life for centuries. However, the arrival of early explorers and settlers resulted in tremendous changes to life in the canyon. In search of fertile farmland, the first Mormon settlers soon discovered the challenges of this rugged landscape. The few families who worked the land between the towering canyon walls endured rock falls, floods, extreme heat, bitter cold, and severe drought. They managed to grow crops along the river and created irrigation channels to provide additional water to fields beyond the floodplain. But the difficult conditions eventually drove many farmers to abandon their efforts. Others would be drawn to this area for entirely different reasons. Adventurers, explorers, and artists found excitement and inspiration in Zion Canyon. Artist and writer Frederick Dellenbaugh accompanied John Wesley Powell during Powell's exploration of the region in the 1870s. He would visit this specific area in 1903 to capture the stunning landscape